tea latte, not spilling on the computer. It's pretty good. Why are books so expensive? I hate it. I don't know if you hate it, but I hate it. And I think the easy answer is that book materials are a thing. But more than that, books have become a popular commodity. New edition? Yes, please. Sprayed edges? Of course. I already own this book, sure, but why not? This one's pretty. Books equal a prime example of popularity rising and then consumerism taking advantage of that. It's the height of consumerism, folks. It is. It really is. We're happy to keep participating. I mean, literally, something I'm going to talk about is all of the book paraphernalia. This is literally me participating in it. I have so many examples of that throughout my apartment. And all the while, we're still complaining about the costs. So what do we actually do, though? What is the fix? What do we do about this? Seeing as our society hates the system and we enjoy putting it to the man, I wonder why most people aren't doing more to end this. And I will keep going down my notes because I've got a bunch of thoughts written down. But it at least makes sense that some people would be reading because reading is one method of counterformation. So reading is one way to stop this. And so the amount of videos that I've seen about like the tagline of, I wonder how much consumerism it took for us to go from thinking that reading and enjoying leisure and that kind of thing is not actually the good life, but consumerism and all that entails is the good life. At the same time, one would think that, reading would fix this because, you'd have your eyes open to these things. But I see more often, to put it crudely, people reading the wrong stuff. And it's empty, it's hollow, shallow. There's revolutions, but nothing gets fixed. It's just a new power system put in place. And yes, it might not look like the old one, but is this new one really any different? And not thinking critically about that kind of thing. Or let's be frank, it's just this is YouTube. Or let's be frank, it's all very not safe for work content. Because now I have to play the YouTube game. Yay! I'm so happy about that. But that's a rant for another day that I do want to actually put a pin in. However, today I want to talk about one of the fixes that I see, and that's libraries. We need to show our local libraries some more love. But why libraries? Well, I wrote an essay on libraries and the history of their purpose, how it changed from preservation and in private collections to a public access. And at the same time, I also discovered that libraries right now are still doing preservation. They're still doing what they were originally, created for. At the library I used to work at, we would be covering books. We had a bookbinder who is my best friend who lives somewhere else now. She doesn't work there anymore, but that's okay. Anyways, and maybe less so private collections, but private collections have taken a different form now. So books used to be a luxury back in the pre-18th century and long before that, and they've become a luxury again, I would say. Between printing, binding, shelving books, it was all expensive. You had to build out libraries, which were often studies or these rooms in these mansions that maybe weren't used quite often. Or, their purpose was to be look at me, I'm so wealthy, I have all these books. And personal libraries were this lavish show of wealth. It was very performative. And you just need to take a look at Book Talk community to see that it's still performative. It is still full of special editions, sprayed edges, limited editions, which aren't actually limited editions if you think about it, because, there's actually a lot of them. And it's just limited edition for right now because they're trying to drive up the scarcity value of the book. And all of this has turned into that, look at me and how many books I read on TikTok. The question is actually how many of those books have these people read? Like, if they're posting a couple videos every day, are they reading these books when they're not? I mean, maybe for some of them, maybe they are reading that much, and when they're not posting online, they are reading. I want to give credit where credit is due for the people, the women in the book talk and the guys in the book talk communities that are doing those things. Props to them. However, a lot of book talk, I'll see if I can find it and I can clip it in, but a lot of these content creators, and now that I'm becoming a content creator, I realize, I have a life outside of this. It's actually a lot. And so there's actually all of these like commentators who have been saying how, because they have to be employed by trends now, they're following the hype. They're not actually necessarily reading all of these books. And they're just hyping up this book whether they've read it or not. And when I was watching book talk recommendations for a while, that was all I got, was the same message, the same spice ratio, whatever, and the typical reason to read this book. And whether or not these book talkers are doing it as a look at me and look at my wealth, these readers do appear to be showing the audiences, look at me, aren't I a good reader? I'm such a fast reader, don't you want to be like me? And it sells this image of the good life, of like, if you're not reading this many books, and we see this all the time when people are comparing their Fable accounts or whatever, there's this message that is pushed and this craving for attention, because of course we want to be like these avid readers. But for some of us, like myself, who's a student, I have a lot on my plate. And without, like, we buy these books, same ones that are popular, without developing our own personal tastes and what we actually like necessarily. Books that maybe don't engage us in the same way and aren't actually educating us. It's creating this echo chamber. But it's books. It's not news outlets or anything, or, the same hyper-politicized videos that you see all the time, that kind of echo chamber. But it's a different kind of echo chamber. And I would say that it's a similar level of bad. Books nowadays are equally as expensive as they were then. And in that, peacock literature culture back then is still the same now. Yet, we keep going to chapters and buying many books, leaving with an armful just to be added to the to be read one day later list and growing TBR pile. And when we're at chapters, half is books, sure, but actually more than half is paraphernalia. Book paraphernalia, book club things. It's mugs you don't need, candles you don't need, blankets you don't need. Unless you're freezing, and then maybe, okay, you could use a blanket, but you could go to Walmart and get a cheaper blanket. And it's just things. I almost bought their book-shaped cutting board because I'm like, oh my gosh, I want that. I want a book cutting board. And then I thought to myself, I don't need this. I have cutting boards at home. I do not need another cutting board, especially one that looks like a book and I'm not going to want to use because I'm going to want to keep it looking nice. So while you're buying books, a vision of the good life as a reader is sold to you. If you're a book lover, you need this sweater. Blank book quote you and every other woman can relate to on a random thing, like a mug. The Indigo Book Club merch, so you can feel like you're part of a community. But only if you buy this stuff. Readers own these things, and if you don't have these things, these books, or this paraphernalia, then you are out. You're not part of the community. And you see that when you're walking around and you see other people with the same bag or similar bag, you got a different color, and you relate with them immediately, and you feel that sense of community. But is it really a community? So you could say, so what? What if I want to participate in this image of the good life? I like these things, and if you do, okay, that's fine. I'm not here to force you out to tell you how to live your life or force you into a new lifestyle. Only you can change that aspect. But what I do want to say, I want to point out the fact that this is what's being sold to you, and this is what we are participating in. This is what I am participating in when I go to chapters and I want to buy things. I don't want to buy things that are just trends. I don't want to just follow the trends all the time. I want my life to look like me. And we're talking about like identity and that kind of thing and finding out who you are. But you take away all those trends and things, what are you left with in your home and in your bookshelves? Are they books that you actually enjoy, or just books that, you know, you were sold? Or just books that you were told to get that you might like? And maybe those have become your favorite books. But what happened to the times when we would go to the back of the book, would read the synopsis, and we would decide, this looks like a good book, I think I would enjoy this. And you take it home and you try it. Well, this is the thing. One of my goals after I graduate, and because of my degree, is I want to read more. But I also want to read more things that are outside of my like reading sphere right now. Books that will make me think, books that will make me look at the world differently. Not just the classics and not just fantasy, because I can finally make my own reading list. Those are the kind of books that I want to be reading when I graduate. I want to continue my education, because as Tolkien says, true education is a king of never-ending story, a matter of continual beginnings, of habitual fresh starts, of persistent newness. We adapt, we learn, and as many of you have seen on my Instagram and other people's pages, I wonder how much propaganda we have had to get fed to us in order for us to think that fast-paced electronic lives beholden to our phones and numb from constant dopamine, where our attention gets stolen from us, for all of that to seem better than a slow life spent with the people we love, tucked into a slanting arm of sunshine with a good book or edifying conversation. We've lost what it means to be human. Now you may ask, what do libraries have to do with getting back to our humanity? An excellent question. While I do not believe that the fix is libraries, I think libraries can steer us in the right direction, at least. Here are some of my reasons why I think libraries really matter. And I will read this off a little bit. It's free. And let's be honest, in our economy, right now, that's pretty snazzy. I will say so myself. Number 2, there's a community here. In the library, there are fellow readers. Go ask the library clerk what their favorite book is. It's literally their job. They want to help you. They are sitting there because they love books and they wanted to be a part of their community. Ask someone who looks like they're reading a good book if it is in fact good. Go up to them and talk to them. Find connection in a place where like-minded, habitual creatures can flourish and help each other. That's the human factor. Go to your library, meet new people, walk up to someone who looks like they're reading a book that, like, okay, we say don't judge a book by its cover, but actually you can judge a book by its cover. You just shouldn't do that about people. There's a whole marketing process that goes through with like cover design. But, you know, that phrase of don't judge a book by its cover has been applied to people, and then we apply it back to books. And it's like, okay, no, actually, it applies more so to people than to books. Anyways, that's that over and done with. And I will say, as an introvert, my own advice scares me. I will be frank about this. But this is the community. Without participating in mass consumerism and trends and paying hundreds of dollars a year because every other season, you know, there's a new thing that you want to buy from Chapters or whatever. We need to throw out those, you know, trends that are gonna be, you know, over and done with in a couple of weeks, because the internet world moves so fast. Don't be beholden to it. Go to the library and find new things. Develop your personal style of books and taste on your own. Number 3, this is my third reason, the library, it has a wealth of knowledge and learning. Is there a topic you're curious about? There's a good chance there's a book there. There's a good chance there's a section on it. Trust me, no matter how obscure, there's likely at least one book or a section. Cookbooks? They're in the library. Baking books? They're in the library. Want to try a new genre but don't want to pay $20 to $30 on a book and then decide you didn't like it and have to give it to a friend? I've never done that before. No, certainly not. You know, library. Library is your answer. Try new things. Learn new things. It goes back to the previous part. But ask a library clerk something they've enjoyed learning while they were reading at the library or something. Now you have someone to talk to about this niche topic that they are also interested in. And, you know, go for coffee. Talk about this book. Like, you know, now you've read it and maybe you're equally as enraged. Or you're enraged and she's not, and now you can go and have coffee. Hey, you know, if, you know, you might meet someone kind of nice. We talk about that, like, you know, trope of meeting each other in the coffee shop or library. You have to actually go and meet people to do that, folks. Number 4. Did I mention that the library is free and that there's an online version in most places? I forgot about this part. I was given a Kobo for my Christmas gift. I am very grateful for it. It has changed my reading life. I am not sponsored by this at all, but I have enjoyed my Kobo very immensely. I have saved a lot of money, and this thing has nearly paid back its worth in the amount of library books that I've checked out through this in having my library card uploaded to this thing. So this is a reason why buy Kobo, not Kindle. Don't support Amazon. Buy Kobo, because you can put your library card on here and then you can buy, or you can rent, not buy, you can rent library books. Okay? Come on, people, get on the train. It's a great train to get on. Anyways, I can plug that another time, I guess. Anyways, there's an online version. You could read on your phone, your iPad. You don't have to buy another Kobo, or a Kobo to begin with. You can read on your phone. We all know you have a phone. You're likely watching this video on your phone. Go and download Libby, or I don't remember what it's called, what it used to be called, but go and download Libby and then upload your library card. If you don't have a library card, go to your local library, get a library card, and then start reading. If you are still terrified to go to your local library and talk to people about what book recommendations, online library will be your friend, and you can dip your toe in before you full on cannonball. Make a queue of books in your hold reserve. I have a queue of books that I'm waiting for. I've turned off Wi-Fi on my Kobo, but I'm currently reading through C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity. And I think I've got a couple of other books queued up in the reserve, in my holds. Make a queue of books, and that's your to be read list. Or, start plugging away at your to be read list while you're reading on your Kobo. I don't know, up to you. If there isn't a book you want to read in the library, well, then consider buying it. But if you know you're really gonna enjoy it, okay? Don't fork out $30 to $40 or whatever on a book that you're not sure you're gonna enjoy. Check it out on the library. But here's the thing. You don't have to buy the books. You don't have to buy the mugs and the bags and the blankets and the candles. These are all things you don't have to do. You are not beholden to any system, okay? We like putting it to the man, putting it to the system, okay? So if society is thinking that, if you're thinking that and you don't want to participate in the system or whatever, you don't have to. But right now, you're saying that, possibly. You could be saying that right now and still participating in it. I know I have done that. There's a reason I don't shop at Amazon anymore. There's a reason I asked for a Kobo and not a Kindle. Number 5, if you're on a book buying ban, like me, library's your fix. Go to the library. Now, this won't solve all the mysteries of the universe. I recognize this, but you'd be surprised, okay? I have read, I think, 10 books. I think 4 of them have been physical copies, but I think 6 of them have been on here. I think. I'm not entirely certain about my numbers, but I have read already a third of my reading goal list, I think. And also, I have changed my reading goal list a couple of times. Now that I'm reading more and I'm not paying a bunch of money to read. I feel like I've hacked the system here, folks. And most of those have been through my online library. But that just makes me more passionate about supporting our local libraries, because the library is such a wonderful resource. It is there for public free access. It is the antithesis of big showy private collections of library books that you can't access or you're broke to access. Because let's be honest, we don't need to buy more books when we need to pay the electric bill and buy groceries and pay for gas. Because holy crap, $1.60 is not sustainable. So, don't buy your books, pay for your gas bill or whatever. So let's start supporting our local libraries, essentially, is what I'm trying to say here. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I'm glad you've come along this journey. I'm glad you listened to me rant about libraries and this very niche thing that I'm passionate about for I don't know how long. And I hope that it was worth it. I hope that you enjoyed it. Now, I also want to turn the discussion over to you. Are you already connected with a local library? Do you enjoy your library? Do you not? Has this been what has your experience been? Do you disagree and think that there is value in buying our books? Is like ownership something that's really important to you? Do you think that having a library at home is a show of wealth, or do you disagree? Is there a facet that I've maybe missed here? What are your overall thoughts on libraries and the things that I've brought up? Is there anything more you want me to discuss, or something that I brushed the topic of and you want me to dive deeper in? And just in general, do you enjoy the images of the good life that Chapters or Indigo or whatever, or these bookstores sell to us? Are you a happy participant, or are you not a happy participant? I don't know. But thank you for watching. Consider giving this a like if you enjoyed. And please subscribe, because it really helps me and helps get these things out there. And that's the part that I hate, so thank you.